hole in the ground. And
Welcome to THP Discover.
Sometimes they're just stuck in the caliche in the mud. They make little shrines in the tunnels. They vary.
And it had a rail system running through it as well.
This is one of the most sophisticated tunnels ever discovered in the United States.
Just because the material used to build it.
Nearly all of them are dug by hand, by day laborers.
This is one of the most sophisticated
Into it. But when diggers survive, they often thank the tunnel god.
The materials used to construct it and the challenging terrain it had to pass through make it truly remarkable.
This is one of those robots view inside a drainage pipe used to smuggle drugs.
This tunnel in particular had a wood pallet floor the whole way of the tunnel.
Used to smuggle drugs.
A wood pallet floor.
A former drug smuggling tunnel between the U.S. and Mexico. But because of the tools and debris so often left in these tunnels, one of the ways that tens of billions of dollars of drugs often snag and get stuck.
What sets this tunnel apart is its advanced design. It featured a full wooden pallet floor, providing stability throughout its length.
Feels syrupy.
The cartel, the audacity that they have.
Ventilation and wooden beams.
Detecting them is nearly impossible.
Even more surprising, a rail system was installed inside, allowing for the efficient transportation of people or goods.
A trap door operated hydraulically from 1,000 feet away in Mexico. It's perfectly camouflaged with the garage floor, so they have to pump it in.
The journey through the seemingly endless tunnel is a long and daunting one for special agents, not knowing what or who they might encounter, as CBP says it was a route used by transnational criminal organizations. But not anymore.
And the cockroaches are pretty pink.
Well, the cockroaches too.
But it only has to be.
And it has apparently been operational for over a year.
Sniffing out the tunnels,
which included Venezuelan women who were victims of sex trafficking.
No one knows how many tunnel diggers have died down here. Once inside, the air is in short supply.
The tunnel, the length of 6.
But underground, there's a threat that remains in the dark.
Passes for entertainment.
Tunnel porn?
Finally, we reach the end of the tunnel.
Statistics exclusively obtained from DHS sources, self-surrendering, but rather they become gotaways.
Comfortable enough to do one thing.
Authorities are calling it one of the most complex smuggling tunnels ever found, proving just how far smugglers are willing to go to bypass border security.
And are nearly an hour inside the tunnel.
Football fields and 6 stories below ground has rail. Law enforcement seized more than 1,700 pounds of cocaine, as the U.S. attorney said.
To help investigate.
allowing traffickers to simply dig new entry points.
Tunnels have been a major concern for the U.S. for some time. Skate, identify, and shut down these tunnels.
Beneath the U.S.-Mexico border, an underground war is being fought.
Tunnel Task Force.
Cartels have constructed an elaborate network of secret tunnels designed to transport massive amounts of drugs and even high-profile criminals like El Chapo.
Price tag that with just 2 shipments of drugs.
Agent Lance Lenore is one of the border tunnel rats. He's been inside more than... Concrete is what's typically used for remediation. Agents seal the portion of the...
Effort goes in to working with this type of problem.
Not an under-the-river one like this one.
And after tunnels are discovered.
The cartels commissioned the work in Matamoros that started right through this opening.
We go in, we map it out with precision to the point.
But nothing would hold the river back, including the pump that had been installed in the tunnel.
There's some fear it could cave in.
You can see the plywood ceiling on here is all...
They would tunnel along the old tunnel, but...
deep underground.
Walk right here.
You just walk gently through here.
Intelligence is the driving factor.
We see artifacts and what?
Those are cases that we investigate as well. We'll address that on a case by case.
100 cross-border tunnels used to smuggle, having tunnels built that would lead him out to freedom from the Mexican prisons he was being held in.
Dirt goes out and drugs.
And the cartels from their #1 market.
Drugs go in.
Time.
If you do a 4,000-pound load of marijuana and you...
On the side of the criminal organizations, those were not the only...
Right through there?
You could drive by it a million times and not...
Illicit drugs, humans, weapons, and money.
Odds.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of the tunnel...
The water started leaking in.
To the border to examine the realities of a wall.
Because it's caved in behind you and there's no way back out.
Exclusively to the location where last August the Mexican military found the tunnel below the Rio Grande River.
We're in hot pursuit of El Chapo, and we'd have to fend for ourselves.
Lots of sunshine right down to the beaches.
We've taken a trip past San Diego.
Notorious not only for his narrow escapes and prison breaks, but for the elaborate cross-border tunnels his cartel has engineered.
It went down into a manhole, and with generators and a ventilation system was probably 8 feet from the start of the tunnel to the bottom, so 8 feet high. However,
those engineers also use the massive and fetid drainage system between the 2 sides of the border.
So right here is the tunneling attempt.
You won't believe the shocking underground strategy.
While the construction of this tunnel under the Rio Grande is unusual,
smuggle drugs fast. He said he doesn't know. It was abandoned when they got there.
These tunnels, some stretching thousands of feet, represent one of the most sophisticated smuggling methods ever used.
And they can be highly sophisticated, like this one discovered last April.
To help investigate, identify, and shut down these tunnels.
Law enforcement seized more than 1,700 pounds of cocaine. As the U.S. attorney said, there's no more light at the end of this narco tunnel.
Only tunnels found. Since 1990, Customs and Border Protection has discovered nearly 2.
Several news outlets in Mexico have reported that the underground route was promoted by other migrants on TikTok as a safe and quick pathway to get into the U.S. The smuggling tunnel is 6 feet tall and 4 feet wide and was equipped with lights.
The agency
U.S. and Mexican authorities have found and destroyed over 180 smuggling tunnels, with most concentrated in border cities like Nobles and Tijuana.
To add thousands of new agents.
What they know is that when they find a tunnel, they know they have an exit point, and there's only one way to find out its entry. So basically,
so does the uncertainty over how Mexico will deal with its side of the problem.
Pounds each one of those things. They have to haul them all the way back through this.
Correct. They drag them all the way back.
But as enforcement here grows, offering cash for good leave.
These tunnels are built with extreme precision, running directly beneath the noses of Border Patrol agents.
The job of finding Customs and Border Protection tunnel team.
You guys
tasked with the sometimes.
So there are 3 tunnels within a space of a year. here in 15 feet.
Correct.
And they can be
Some are
highly
simple
sophisticated,
passageways,
like
but
the
others are
tunnels
engineering
found.
marvels,
Since
featuring wooden
1990,
floors,
Customs
concrete
and Border
walls,
Protection
lighting
has
systems,
discovered
and even
nearly
underground rail
ran the
tracks to
length
move drugs
of 9
quickly.
football fields. This tunnel, discovered the year before, outfitted with ventilation.
100 cross-border tunnels used to smuggle illicit drugs, humans, weapons, and money.
2,000-mile-long border with Mexico.
Despite law
Crazy
enforcement
is that
efforts, cartel
180
tunnels
some
remain a
tunnels found
growing
so far along
problem.
the
And an
Authorities
elevator
admit
could
that for
hold up
every
to 10
tunnel they
people.
find, there
There's
are
a tunnel
likely
right
several
here,
more
and then there's a
still
tunnel
undiscovered.
20 feet behind.
The dreamers from the American dream.
Our convoy rolls up to a gated house.
On the side of the criminal organizations and the cartels from their number one market, the United States. Prisons he was being held in. Those were not the only. The DEA office in the Rio Grande Valley took our cameras.
That's all for today. Thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next video.
The cartels commissioned the work in Matamoros that started right through this opening.
Earlier this year, by having his comrades brazenly into his prison cell. A tunnel even fitted out with a motorcycle on a rail. Busted out of the
battle against cartel tunnels is far from over. As authorities race to close them down, smugglers are already digging new ones, keeping this underground war alive.
Identify and shut down these tunnels. Just a few miles south where the Rio Grande meets the Gulf of Mexico, it is wide open and not as easy to hide goods being moved. But here, CBP has cameras and they dedicate more manpower.
I don't know what my life will be from here on.
Since Donald Trump's inauguration on January 20, 2025, the U.S.-Mexico border has undergone a rapid transformation, prompting Texas Governor Greg Abbott to laud the Trump administration for its swift and decisive action on the ongoing border crisis. In a matter of weeks, illegal crossings have plummeted, border security has tightened, and a renewed partnership between Texas and federal authorities has taken shape. Abbott has hailed this as a turning point after years of what he calls federal neglect under the Biden administration. Speaking at a roundtable in Eagle Pass on March 7, 2025, alongside Vice President J.D. Vance, Abbott praised the administration's aggressive approach, crediting it with restoring order and bolstering Texas' long-standing efforts to secure the border. The Trump administration hit the ground running, implementing policies that delivered measurable outcomes within days of taking office. On January 20, Trump signed an executive order banning asylum requests at the southern border, dismantling the Biden-era CBP-1 app that had allowed migrants to schedule legal entry. This move stranded thousands who had relied on the app, effectively halting a key pathway for asylum seekers. By February, U.S. Customs and Border Protection reported just 8,500 illegal crossing arrests, a sharp decline from January's 29,000 and a fraction of the 141,000 recorded in February 2024. Abbott, in a Fox News interview on March 9, called this the most sudden shift in government operations he'd ever witnessed, attributing it to Trump's immediate deployment of military resources. That deployment included over 1,500 active duty troops sent to the border by late January, supplementing the 2,500 Texas National Guard members already stationed there under Operation Lone Star. Together, they've constructed barriers, conducted patrols, and supported deportation efforts. Border Patrol Chief Mike Banks, a Trump appointee with a history as Texas border czar, noted on March 5 that daily apprehensions had fallen to under 300, a 94% drop from early 2024 levels. "We've gone from chaos to control in weeks," Banks told reporters in El Paso, echoing Abbott's praise for the administration's rapid response. Abbott has long positioned Texas as the frontline defender against illegal immigration, launching Operation Lone Star in 2021 to fill what he saw as a federal vacuum. Since then, the state has spent over $11 billion, apprehended more than 531,100 migrants, and seized 624 million lethal doses of fentanyl. However, he frequently clashed with the Biden administration, accusing it of obstructing state efforts with lax policies. That dynamic changed overnight with Trump's return. On January 27, Abbott signed a memorandum of understanding with CBP granting Texas National Guard soldiers authority to make immigration arrests alongside federal agents. This partnership has turbocharged enforcement, with joint operations already netting dozens of high-profile arrests. During the Eagle Pass Roundtable, attended by Vance and key Homeland Security officials, Abbott highlighted this collaboration. For 4 years, Texas held the line alone. He said, "Now, we finally have a partner in the White House who's serious about ending this crisis." Vance, in turn, praised Texas's unwavering resolve, pledging federal resources to sustain the momentum. The event underscored a shared vision: militarize the border, deport undocumented immigrants en masse, and deter future crossings through visible strength. Posts on X from Abbott's office on March 7 reinforced this message, touting Texas's role as a key ally in Trump's border strategy. The numbers tell a compelling story of containment. Texas, which shares over 1,200 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border, has seen illegal crossings drop by 87% since Operation Lone Star began. A statistic Abbott credits to state efforts now amplified by Trump's policies. Federal data aligns with this, showing a near total collapse of migrant caravans approaching the border by early March. The reinstatement of the Remain in Mexico policy on January 20 forced non-Mexican asylum seekers to wait south of the border, while Trump's threats of 25% tariffs on Mexican goods pressured Mexico to ramp up its own enforcement. Mexican authorities report deporting 30% more migrants to southern Mexico in 2025 than in 2024, easing the burden on Texas border cities. Yet, the crisis hasn't vanished. It's shifted. Mexico's border towns like Ciudad Juarez and Tijuana are swelling with migrants unable to cross, with shelters at 150% capacity. The IOM estimates over 15,000 people are currently stranded there. Abbott acknowledged this during a March 10 press conference, urging Trump to maintain pressure on Mexico to prevent a rebound. "We've stopped the flow into Texas," he said. "The next step is ensuring it doesn't build back up south of us." Abbott's praise for Trump isn't universally shared. Human rights groups, including the ACLU, have condemned the asylum ban and military buildup as violations of international law. Filing lawsuits in early February, they argue that legitimate refugees, like those fleeing cartel violence, are being unjustly blocked. In contrast, Trump supporters and Texas Republicans see the crackdown as a long overdue fix to a broken system. Texas has shown the nation how it's done, Representative Tony Gonzalez tweeted on March 8. Trump's just scaling it up. Abbott has also leveraged the partnership to push for federal reimbursement of Texas's border spending, sending letters to Congress on March 6 requesting $11.1 billion. He argues that Biden's reckless policies forced the state to foot the bill, a burden Trump's team should nap. Offset. The administration has signaled support, with Vance hinting at budget talks during the Eagle Pass visit. The swift handling of the border crisis has given Abbott and Trump an early win, but challenges loom. Inside, the USIC detention centers are at 117% capacity, holding over 45,000 migrants as of March 11, straining resources. Outside, Mexico's growing migrant backlog could spark diplomatic tensions if tariffs come into play. Smugglers are adapting too, with reports of fake Border Patrol vehicles spotted in border counties since February, suggesting a shift to riskier tactics. For now, Abbott remains bullish. Texas and Trump are rewriting the playbook on border security, he declared on X on March 12. Together, we're making America safe again. Whether this partnership can sustain its early success, or whether the legal, logistical, and international fallout will define its legacy. As spring approaches, the border remains a proving ground for both leaders' resolve.
To our country to help deal with the consequences of it.
Migrants make their way from Mexico through a gap between the 30-foot steel border fence and rocks.
Migrants coming here from all over the globe.
A record number from China.
And dropped another group at the same.
Crushed by China's weak economy, repression, and corruption.
Same spot.
And here we have this
giant mass of Asians coming in saying,
We saw people from India, Vietnam, and Afghanistan asking for political asylum.
They extend at least a foot underwater with no netting beneath them for now, officials say.
Many of the Chinese migrants who came through will end up asking for political asylum. Did you travel by yourself or with family?
And spin if someone tries to climb over them. Today, the Justice Department is poised to sue the state of Texas
to find out what's next. People with appointments say they were told they would be let in today.
Back on the border, we meet this father and son.
But instead, they say the app prompted them.
Tonight, among the unprecedented number of migrants illegally crossing into the U.S. from Mexico,
To see if they would be let into the country and find out what would happen after Trump officially.
a dramatic surge in people from China.
Video. This is from our reporting partners, Televisa, taken in Tijuana just hours ago as a crowd lined up.
We're on the border east of San Diego.
Means U.S. officials don't have to offer them asylum.
Once they set foot on American soil,
they can simply put them out. The inflammatory language.
The smugglers' work is done, with many more
the sound of a door slamming shut.
Customers ready to go. David Noriega, NBC.
EBP1 are no longer valid, so...
News, Jacumba, California.
That was just day one. By Wednesday, there was more.
Just after sunrise, we saw the first group of
troops deploying to the border, obstacles being built.
Number of people coming through from China, nearly 7,000 miles away.
And an executive order which the White House said,
Careful, watch. Our cameras and
border wall. President Trump showed that when he was in office.
At one point, this armed Border Patrol agent standing 25 feet away did not deter them.
So,
igual nos vinimos porque es incierta la información que.
And that woman is saying that she showed up to the border because of inconsistent information.